What if the way a man touches you in bed could tell you exactly how he feels, without him saying a single word? Not in the heat of the moment, not in rehearsed lines or practiced passion, but in the pauses. The breath. The gaze that lingers when he thinks you're not watching. See, most women have been taught to read love by what a man says in the daylight, but it's in the dark, in intimacy, in stillness where his truth slips through. Because the body doesn't lie. And Carl Jung understood this better than anyone. Jung taught that the unconscious is always speaking, even when we don't realize it. Especially during intimacy, when our masks fall away and our shadows step forward, when the ego gets quiet and the soul comes closer. So if you've ever wondered, does he really love me? Or is this just desire? You're asking the right question, but you're asking it in the wrong language. There are 4 specific things a man will only do in bed when he's not just attracted, but emotionally surrendered. 4 signs that his love has moved past his words, past his desire, and into something deeper. Instinctual, soul level. And if you know how to see it, how to feel it, you'll never doubt again. Let's begin. To understand love, not the storybook version, but the kind that rewires a man from the inside out, you have to understand what Carl Jung called the anima. Every man carries within him a feminine imprint, not a weakness, but a soul image, a reflection of softness, intuition, emotion, and longing. Jung called this the anima, the hidden feminine that lives in a man's psyche. And when he falls deeply in love, it's not just you he sees, it's her. The soul within you that mirrors the soul within him. This is why real love, true love, feels almost mythic, as if you're not just lovers, but ancient echoes meeting again. Because in Jungian psychology, love isn't attraction, it's recognition, a return, a homecoming. Now here's what most people miss. A man doesn't fall in love through words. He falls in love through experience, through sensation, through surrender. He may say, "I love you 100 times, but it's in the way he breathes beside you, touches you when the world disappears, holds you in the silence after, that his unconscious reveals the truth. Because the moment a man enters deep intimacy, when the body softens, when the masks drop, the unconscious rises. It's no longer about technique or performance. It's about truth, his truth. And in that space, his deepest feelings can't help but leak out through his behavior. That's why the bedroom is never just physical, it's symbolic. It's where the ego dies just long enough for something sacred to slip through. When a man is emotionally bonded, something ancient awakens. He's no longer operating from social scripts or masculine conditioning. He's pulled into a deeper current, a river that doesn't ask for control, but for union. And that's where Jung's concept of the shadow comes in. The shadow is the part of us we hide. The wounds, the fears, the vulnerability. In everyday life, a man keeps his shadow buried. But in love, during intimacy, that part of him begins to surface. Not always loudly. Sometimes it's in the way his hands tremble slightly. Sometimes it's in the way he lingers after, as if he can't bear to lose the moment. He may not understand it himself, but his unconscious does. Because love, real love, forces integration. It breaks the wall between who he thinks he should be and who he truly is. This is why you'll notice different behaviors when a man is emotionally invested. His timing shifts, his eyes soften. He becomes aware of your rhythms, not just his own. His body listens. And it's not about being romantic. It's not about being a good guy. It's about surrender. The unconscious surrender of a man who is no longer performing, but revealing. These are not things you can teach him. They are not the result of effort. They are the result of bond. The anima, awakened. The shadow, softened. The ego, silenced. So the next time you're with him, not just beside him, but truly with him, pay attention. Not to what he says, but to what his body does when he forgets to guard it. Because in those sacred, unguarded moments, he's not showing you his desire. He's showing you his soul. And that's when you'll know the difference between attraction and love. Now, let's dive into the 4 sacred behaviors only a man in love will ever show you in bed. The first, you'll feel it in his eyes. 1. He holds your gaze in the height of passion. There's a moment, just before the wave crests, when everything else disappears. And if he's in love with you, he doesn't look away. He holds your gaze, not by habit, not by chance, but because his unconscious won't let him look anywhere else. It's one of the most vulnerable acts a man can offer in bed, eye contact at the moment of surrender. Because in that instant, every mask he's worn, every performance he's learned, falls away. He's not just inside you physically, he's with you emotionally, spiritually, soulfully. Carl Jung called the eyes portals of the unconscious, and for good reason. The eyes don't edit, they don't pretend, they don't ask permission. They just reveal. That's why prolonged eye contact during intimacy is so powerful, because it bypasses control and speaks directly from the psyche. When a man holds your gaze in the heat of love, it's not just passion, it's participation mystique, the ancient dance of two souls dissolving into one. This is the anima in full bloom. That inner feminine he rarely touches in daylight, she rises now, guiding his body toward intimacy, not performance. The gaze becomes more than visual, it becomes devotional. And in that devotion, something sacred awakens between you. Contrast this with a man who can't meet your eyes, who looks away, who closes off. That doesn't mean he's incapable of love, but it often means he hasn't surrendered to it yet. The ego is still present, the walls are still up, but the man who looks at you through climax, through vulnerability, through the rawness of being fully seen, that man isn't just looking at your body, he's offering his soul, whether he knows it or not. And here's what most women miss. This gaze is not for approval, it's not seduction, it's revelation. Because when a man locks eyes with you in the moment, his guard is lowest. He's saying the one thing he doesn't know how to say. I trust you with all of me. 2, he moves at the pace of your nervous system. You feel it before you understand it. The way he slows when you tense. The way he pauses without asking why. The way his hands soften when yours do, matching your breath before you've even noticed you were holding it. This isn't foreplay. It's attunement. A man in love doesn't just seek pleasure, he listens for resonance. He doesn't take cues from scripts or past lovers, he takes them from your body in real time. And his own nervous system, if emotionally bonded, starts to mirror yours without him realizing. Jung called this limbic synchrony. Today, science catches up with what the ancients knew. When two people are emotionally connected, their bodies begin to harmonize. Heart rates sync, breathing aligns, muscle tension echoes like a shared pulse across two spines. But in Jungian terms, it's more than biology. It's symbolic union. The moment he tunes his rhythm to yours, he is no longer operating from ego. He is embodying the archetype of the divine lover, the masculine force that doesn't conquer but joins. And through this unconscious mirroring, he says what his mouth can't. I want to meet you where you are, not where I expect you to be. This is the work of the integrated masculine, the man who has touched his shadow, wrestled his anima, and come through not just wanting to take, but to merge. In these moments, his masculine instinct to lead doesn't vanish, but it becomes something deeper, sacred, responsive, respectful. You'll feel it in the way he touches your back when your breath stutters, in the way he adjusts the pace without speaking, in the way his presence wraps around you like a second skin, not because he planned it, but because he can't not do it. That's what makes this behavior so rare. It can't be taught, it can't be faked. It only happens when he is emotionally tethered to you, when your well-being is not an obligation, but a compass, when your safety becomes his arousal. Compare this to sex driven only by desire. It's hurried, it's performative. He's chasing sensation, not listening for signals. You feel like a stage, not a partner, a vessel, not a voice. But when he's in love, he feels you, like music, like water, like breath. He moves with you, not through you. And that's what intimacy is at its most sacred. Not choreography, not technique, but instinctual unity. The body's way of saying what the heart already knows. I'm not here to conquer you, I'm here to know you. 3, he stays, not just in the room, but in himself. What happens after is more revealing than what happens during. The lights dim, the passion fades. But if he stays, truly stays, not out of politeness or habit, but because something in him refuses to pull away, that's love revealing itself without a script. Post-sex vulnerability is the soul's softest voice, and most men, unless emotionally bonded, retreat from it. Jung believed the ego's greatest fear is dissolution, and intimacy, real intimacy, is ego death. In the quiet after climax, a man's unconscious begins to stir. His shadow emerges, not as rage or resistance, but as tenderness. Long-buried emotions surface, childhood wounds peek through. His defenses falter, sometimes for the first time. If he's in love, he won't run from this. He won't rush to reclaim his armor. He'll linger. He'll wrap himself around you like he's afraid the moment might vanish. He may go silent, not because he's distant, but because there are no words that hold what he's feeling. He might press his forehead to yours, stroke your hair, breathe you in slowly like memory. In that moment, he is not the man the world sees. He is not the role he plays. He is boy and beast and dreamer, all at once. And you in his arms are not just a lover. You are sanctuary. This is what Jung meant by integration. When love cracks a man open, it makes space for his whole self to appear, not just the curated parts. And when he remains emotionally present after sex, he is allowing that integration to take place, not resisting it. The man who leaves quickly, or grows cold, or detaches, he may not be unfeeling. He may simply be protecting his unconscious from exposure. He's not ready to be seen beneath the performance. But the man who stays, who whispers nothing, who holds you like a question he finally has the answer to, he's revealing everything. Not by what he says, but by what he no longer needs to hide. Because when a man is deeply in love, the act of being with you doesn't end with climax. It continues in silence, in stillness, in soul. And that's the moment you'll feel it strongest. Not the friction, not the fire, but the way he settles into you like you're not a visitor, but a home. 4. He touches you like you're mythic. Not sexy, not hot, not even beautiful. Mythic. Like he's not just touching your skin, he's remembering it. As if you've lived in his dreams long before you ever stepped into his life. This isn't about skill. It's not about knowing your spots or reading your reactions. It's about reverence. The way his fingers slow as they run down your spine. The way he kisses your collarbone like it carries ancient meaning. The way he traces your body like it's scripture, and he's forgotten how to pray until now. Jung wrote that in Love. A man projects the anima, the idealized feminine within, onto the woman he desires. But when that love is real, when the bond is grounded and not just fantasy, that projection collapses. What's left isn't just a woman, it's the soul made visible. And when a man touches you with that awareness, something sacred happens. The body stops being flesh and starts being symbol. Symbol of trust, symbol of memory, symbol of everything he's ever longed to return to but didn't know how. This is not about foreplay, it's about recognition. You'll feel it in the way he pauses to look at you, not to admire, but to remember, to integrate the inner and outer woman, the one he dreamed of and the one who is real. And when that union occurs, his hands respond in kind, gentle, grounded, God-willing. There's no rush in his movement, no agenda. It's as if he's afraid he'll break something sacred if he moves too quickly. Because in his unconscious, he's not making love to a woman. He's making love to her, the eternal feminine, the mirror of his own soul, the muse his psyche has chased across lifetimes. This is the symbolic body, what Jung might call the numinous encounter, where sex becomes ritual and the touch becomes transmission. And when you're on the receiving end of that kind of touch, you'll know it instantly. Because it doesn't ask for anything. It worships, it witnesses, it remembers. Compare this to the man driven by lust alone. His touch is urgent, his pace is fixed, he follows patterns, not presence. You're an object, a target, a sensation. But the man in love? He doesn't touch to get somewhere. He touches because he found something. And in that sacred moment of skin and spirit, he isn't trying to own you, please you, or even prove anything. He's simply trying to honor the place in you that feels like home. Let's be clear. Tenderness is not always love. A man can hold you gently and still be unavailable. He can whisper sweet nothings and still be hiding. He can stay the night and still wake up a stranger. That's the hard truth. And if you've ever mistaken affection for devotion, you're not naive. You're human. We are wired to seek meaning in touch, to believe that closeness must equal care. But in a world where intimacy is often transactional, you need something deeper to guide you. That's where energy comes in, not performance, not pattern, but presence. One of the biggest mistakes women make is overanalyzing a man's behavior in bed through the lens of strategy. If he did this, what does it mean? He cuddled after, should I text first? He made eye contact, was that love? But this isn't a code to crack, it's a feeling to recognize. Jung warned us against interpreting human behavior only through logic. The unconscious doesn't speak in straight lines, it speaks in symbols, in timing, in tone, and most of all, in consistency. A man in love won't just show it in one night. He'll show it in many, in how his unconscious shows up again and again in your presence, not just when he wants you, but when he wants with you. That's why one night of soul-stirring sex is not proof of devotion. A man can be captivated by you without being capable of holding you. He can be emotionally moved, even temporarily transformed, but still not ready to love you fully. So what do you trust? Not the gestures alone, but the pattern they create. Is his eye contact just intense, or is it anchored? Is his slowness consistent, or just convenient? Does he mirror your energy, or does he use yours to find his rhythm? You're not looking for a checklist. You're listening for a truth tone. The body speaks it fluently, but only when the ego steps aside. And you must beware of one more thing: the temptation to perform. The moment you start doing something in bed to earn his love, to secure his gaze, to prolong his softness, you leave yourself. And once you abandon your center, it becomes impossible to feel what's real. Love isn't something you earn by being good at intimacy. Love shows itself when you are fully received, not when you're perfectly presented. So don't chase signs, don't rehearse magic. Just notice. Notice how you feel when he touches you. Safe or staged? Remembered or reduced? Notice how you breathe when he's with you. Do you soften or brace? Notice the space between words and actions. Is there harmony or hunger? The truth doesn't hide, but it also doesn't shout. It speaks in the quiet, in the unconscious, in the body's simple yes or no. And when love is real, you won't have to decode it. You'll recognize it, because it won't be about what he's doing, it'll be about who he becomes when he's with you. What happens in bed isn't just physical, it's psychological revelation. It's the moment the unconscious steps out from behind the ego and says, "Here I am." A man can't fake presence. He can't script surrender. He can't rehearse reverence. When he's deeply in love, it leaks out of him, in his breath, in his silence, in his timing, in the way he touches you like memory. This is not about seducing him. It's about reading him. Because the body never lies. When he holds your gaze, he's showing you his soul. When he moves with you, he's aligning with your nervous system. When he stays, he's revealing the parts of himself he normally hides. And when he touches you like you're sacred, he's remembering something older than desire: recognition. You don't need to perform to earn this. You only need to be still enough to feel it. And when it's real, you won't be confused. You won't feel like you're being tested or played or temporarily adored. You'll feel something deeper, mythic, familiar. Because when a man is truly in love, you don't just become his partner, you become his mirror. The one his unconscious has been searching for and finally found. If this resonated with you, leave a comment and share your experience. What truths have you seen whispered in the body? If this spoke to something deep in you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, so this kind of truth has a place to keep living.